Good afternoon. My name is Dom Lindars. I'm the CEO of MarketBright, and I'd like to introduce you to and tell you a little bit more about our company and what we do. MarketBright provides an on-demand platform for doing marketing automation. We essentially focus around demand generation and lead management, but particularly focus on providing enterprise capabilities to do nurture marketing in a self-service fashion. And I'd like to get into a little bit more detail about telling you what we do and how we're different as a SaaS company. So in terms of the basics of what we do, we focus on four main areas that marketing teams are typically looking for. The first typical problem that most companies have is, how do I go about making more leads? How do I make more leads that I can pass over to the sales team? And this is quite simply an operational and logistical issue, and the MarketBright application can just improve marketing operations execution just to be able to actually speed up the process and make it more efficient and actually take the cost out of creating new leads. But that's very typically just the simple problem that companies have to deal with. The next problem is a better problem to have is, all right, I can actually generate lots of sales leads. How do I go about managing those leads? And this is exactly where a lot of the core capabilities of MarketBright come into play, being able to leverage really the enterprise functionality that's built into the system, to use nurture marketing programs, automated step-by-step campaigns that are tied together that actually can be set up by marketing teams so that each campaign follows on one after another based on rich criteria based on how people respond and interact with your campaigns, all in an automated fashion. But that isn't really that's only part of the operational pieces. The next piece is really some of the intelligence behind the system. And this is where some of the lead scoring and lead grading and intelligence is built into the MarketBright platform. Now, many of you may be familiar with the concept of lead scoring and lead grading. It's that one little field in Salesforce that says lead grade, and it probably says A, B, C, D, or hot, warm, cold, something like that. And typically, over the past 10 years or so, this has been treated as a proxy for how good a lead is and so forth. And overall in the marketplace, the way we actually get to that has matured. So there's a lot of companies now that can produce some very quite sophisticated lead scoring models for working out how good a lead is. And that's MarketBright does exactly similar capabilities of basing lead scoring on profile data, interaction history, also rolling information up at a company level or at a firmographic level. So for example, being able to score subsequent visitors from a particular company higher than previous visitors. Okay, so you're the 5th person to arrive from IBM, therefore I'm actually going to score you higher, because obviously there's more interest coming in from IBM as a company. But that's really just where lead scoring is really where some of the existing marketplace is at right now, and particularly where a lot of customers are looking to deploy systems just using basic lead scoring. MarketBright really takes things to the next level, and is one of the first vendors to introduce multidimensional, or what industry analysts call multimodal scoring, which is not just looking about how good a lead is, but actually what is a lead good for. And so we introduce the concepts of product or solution affinity or dominant interest, so that you can pass on, not just within marketing for enriching programs, but also pass over to sales. This person actually has a better affinity based on this set of scoring models to product A versus product B versus product C. So when information actually goes over to a sales rep, it might actually be used as part of a territory assignment or a sales rep assignment piece, or it may be actually based on how in terms of what a sales rep should actually do in terms of calling down on to the actual prospect. So this already loops together really to focus on the third piece, which is about how to convert prospects. And MarketBright very much focuses on helping to automate sales. So it's not just nurture marketing, it's actually nurture sales. Help automate the processes that sales reps do on a daily basis. And then just to take a look at why a lot of companies are choosing MarketBright. We've actually been having some great success so far, particularly in the last year or so. We're going to finish out this year at about 250% growth in revenue and over doubling our customer count. It's great to see that we can have such success during difficult economic times. Where does some of this come from? We have taken an approach where we completely want to remove the need for technical resources or system integrators from deploying a marketing automation solution. And I think that's in stark contrast, particularly to a lot of typical enterprise deployments for marketing automation. And this is exactly why companies like Motorola, GE Energy, TELUS, Consona are all using MarketBright for large deployments within their large enterprise organizations. Going back to some of the things that were mentioned earlier about how customization impacts the deployment of a SaaS solution, we have a very broad, flexible extensibility system within the platform that allows you to introduce essentially customizations, but they're all just configured within the application, very much in the same way that Salesforce does. And I think that's quite unique within the marketing automation space to actually get to that enterprise customizable functionality you need to get to. And then one other last point that I want to touch on is MarketBright particularly has been focused in running the business in a different way from a lot of SaaS companies. We focus on very capital efficient running of both the business and of operations and of support. Now, as a marketing company, you'd expect us to actually be using our own product, which of course we do. And we estimate that our lead generation activities, for example, are probably about 5 times more effective or certainly cost effective than we've seen the numbers of in comparison with some of our competitors. So we actually see that running a business efficiently is actually something that's going to be different and a differentiator for us moving forward. By actually not requiring huge amounts of capital to grow our business. And that's exactly why we're in a situation where, even though we haven't raised very much money from a financing perspective, we're actually still able to double and close to triple our revenue over this next year. So with that, I'd like to thank you very much for your time and let everybody go to lunch.